Our first item on the agenda is a abbreviated notice of a resource area delineation for 68 Leonard Street. Does not yet have a DPE file number, but do we have a representative of the applicant who'd like to present?
So
looks like we do.
Julian, just a correction, they do have a DEP file number now. I checked.
Oh, excellent. So it came through?
Yep.
What would that be?
I can't remember off the top of my head. It's either 1099 or 1100. I think it's one or the other. I'll double check right now.
Okay.
Actually.
I have it right here if you need it. It's SE 250-1099.
Yeah, it's 1099.
9. All right. So it looks like Mark, you're the representative.
Sure. I will start sharing my screen.
Why don't you go ahead?
Okay. Good evening. My name is Mark Mariano with Oak Hill Engineering, 75 Oak Hill Ave, Seekonk, Massachusetts. Tonight I'm representing Ruhan General Contracting for ANRAD at 68 Leonard Street in Norton. We delineated the wetlands line in late February, early March. We picked up these in survey, and we've also identified the edge of an AE flood zone using a GNSS rover. What we're requesting tonight is we request a review of the line by John in Norton Conservation to solidify a line for future evaluation on this property.
So, John, why don't you just you walked it? You have no issues with the delineation as presented. Is that correct?
That's correct, Julian. It's fairly straightforward. Toa slope wetland resource area with a northerly kind of channel and then a kind of a southwesterly channel there. So as you can see on the site plan. So it was pretty clear and defined to kind of understand where the boundary was when I made my assessment and evaluation. The one thing that I will note is that I have been in discussions with the landowner because there was some minor disruption of, I guess he was a little eager to get started on some other stuff. So I've talked to him. We've kind of discussed of him putting out erosion controls as a secondary measure and also installing some witness posts similar to what we have established. So that way, the potential new owner of the property knows what is going to entail for the 25-foot buffer. So that way it's established. Obviously, any sort of development or things of nature that go on this property site will require a notice of intent. So I did let him know that since he is within a flood zone, since he is close within proximity to the resource area, he will need to file application alongside that. But that's on a subset of kind of this permit application. But I do think that he needs to take care of all those issues before this permit application is issued for confirmation of the resource areas.
So, John, can you clarify the extent of work that's been done?
And it may.
Sorry, go ahead. Who was speaking first?
It was at least it goes.
Can you just clarify what he's done out there?
So he is actually, Mark, if you just want to zoom in a little bit. So the area to the, I guess, to the east of the house is kind of where the septic area is. And he's kind of expanded a little bit going further towards the carport. So I have asked him to kind of put in erosion controls adequately along that. So that way it encapsulates kind of the area that I gave him verbal authorization to do the septic repair. But at the same point, I also want him to put in the posts to kind of have that established. So that way the visual barrier's there, just so that way, you know, it's done in accordance with our regulations and our the Wetlands Protection Act. Also, the Stormwater Compliance Administrative Review requires it. So we have to have him put in the erosion control and sedimentation controls. So that's a requirement. He went a little overboard. I talked to the engineer. He's aware of the situation. So, we're working together. I don't want to cause any more issues than need to be. So I think that, it'll get resolved.
And John, to clarify, our firm wasn't the engineer on that portion of the project.
No. Yes, Mark, I know that you weren't on board with that. It's definitely a different entity. So I've reminded them that if this sort of activity continues, then notice of intents will be required on all projects associated with their company. So, I've just tried to be cordial and polite, and I expect, the same in return.
So we don't normally see a wetland delineation for the entire site for a septic repair. Is this, and I assume the septic repair is tied to selling the property. So how come it went that route?
So the septic repair, the former owner had paid to have that done by a separate firm, and the current owner purchased the property, and now this portion we're evaluating what could be for future use at this property via the ANRAD. So I don't know what the previous firm had done. I know they designed a septic repair that was isolated up in this area.
Yeah, it was up to the north, but they kind of went closer to the easterly side of the house with some of the work. So they were showing it kind of outside where the elevation is for the flood. So I was comfortable with signing off it on that regard, but they did a little bit more expansion to the east side of that property.
So the ANRAD has nothing to do with septic. It's what they want to do in the future.
Right.
Yep. Julian, while I have the floor, I have a couple of questions.
Sure, go ahead.
So let's start out with flag series F41 to F45, and then 36 to 40. It looks like a stream. Was there any evidence of an intermittent stream there?
For that area, I mean, it's a definitive channel, that's for sure.
So this kind of, when I went out there, looked like that they connected another wetland up here through man-made purposes.
Right, and that's kind of my thought too, was that area looked like at some point this was man-made, and it captured the water system from the north, and then they probably created this pond at some point, because it definitely looks like it was a man-made feature at some point. It's fairly level. The area is very early successional growth that's in there. I would probably say circa 1950s, maybe this was like a open water body.
It leads me to believe at some point that some of the gravel was probably taken out, possibly for even 495 purposes.
Yeah, so I guess the point I'm getting to is, pardon me, I have a cold, bad cold. They didn't classify this as a stream though.
No, my wetland scientist didn't. And if you did go out there, I don't know, John, if you have any photos of it. It's weaves flattened. There's no sign of scour or any sort of water movement that persists through there.
Okay. So I had a couple questions about the flood zone.
Yep.
If we go back to Leonard Street, you show elevation 74.
7350.
Granted, the flood zone's 7350. There's a massive gap in the topo at the 74 on the other side. Sorry, keep going down where it says, yeah, right there. So the last contour you have there is 74. So what happens there? Is it a hill? Is it a depression? What?
Oh, this right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone took that dirt out. They mined the gravel out of there.
So that's my point, is that you need to show some spot shots in there, right? It's
Inside
missing.
there,
Yeah, it's a big blank spot right there. So
you may get like to 73, like right here. It's pretty damn flat through there.
right, but see, my point is that your flood zone's at 7350. So the burden of proof is on you to make sure that that is not part of the flood zone. That's why I'm asking for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I can
Okay.
do that.
So that's one thing. And then your the 73.5 contour theoretically should fall in the middle of, right, 73 and 74, and it doesn't. And I'm a little perplexed by that. So let's look at, for instance, flag WF30 on the far eastern portion of the site. So your flood zone looks like it's at 73, and you have a 74. Oh, far east, people, east. Flag WF30. Here we go. So can you just walk me through why that 7350 is not falling in between where it should be?
7350. Are you saying why it's not following this route?
So where would 7350 fall? Between 73 and 74. Right now you have the flood zone mapped at 70.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
The flood zone's off.
Yeah. Or I have a topo that has a glitch right here too. When you get back into this area, it does drop off. I can relook at my elevation shots over here.
Yeah, it's following the wrong elevation. I guess that's my point.
Yeah, it might be. You're right. It didn't correct itself.
Yeah. So you want to fix that, please.
Yeah, I can fix that topo line.
And then, okay, so I assume your datum reference, your datum is 88 because it matches I'm assuming the flood map is 88.
Correct.
You don't have a reference to your datum on the plans. So if you could add that too while you're at it, that would be great. Those are the only comments I had.
Any other questions from members of the commission? So I have a couple of more once you have that note finished. So if we go, you all set, Mark, with that note?
Yeah, hold on. I'm just capturing all of hers.
Okay. So at Leonard Street, is there a culvert there where the wetland meets the street? Is that right in there? Is that what's?
Yes, there is. There is. I think an RCP pipe.
Okay, and so this area, this large area, doesn't necessarily receive runoff from Leonard Street itself.
Don't believe so, no, because there is a fairly large berm that kind of
I see.
pushes it. If anything, it would outfall on this side of the street if it was collecting from the street.
Oh, I see. All right, and the only other note is it maybe is a question for John Thomas. The version of the application that I saw does not have an owner listed, and it doesn't have an owner's signature. So I don't know if that's something they've addressed, but to be academically correct, we're supposed to have that info on the application.
Yes, Mr. Ruhan, I believe. Right, Mark?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Let me open it.
Is that part of your, I assume that's part of your checklist, John Thomas, when it comes in?
Yep.
Okay. So had you asked for it?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, so you want the gentleman, the owner's name, not the contractor's name. I mean, the owner's. Well, the owner is Ruhan General Contracting on the title.
I see. So, but we, you know, the law is supposed to, I mean, we're supposed to be sure that the owner is aware of the activity on the property. That's the only reason that, to be legally in compliance with reviewing this project, the owner has to know it's happening. And one of the ways of judging that is having a signature.
So is Mr. Ruhan not the property owner? I thought he was.
No, he signed it. Yeah, he is the property owner.
So it's not, maybe he signed as applicant and owner. Because it will ask you to sign for applicant, and then it'll say owner if different, different than applicant. So might have just been signed by a single party.
He probably just saw a property owner. Yeah, because he should have signed it in both spots. Well, no, actually, he should have just signed an applicant spot because he is the owner.
Yep.
Oh, actually, this one, let's see, maybe I misspoke, because there is a signature on the property owner line. All right, I may have made a mistake there.
That's all right.
All right, but the next one doesn't have either owner or applicant on my copy, and it may be on the official copy. So at any rate, I have no further questions. So anyone in the audience who has any questions about this project? And just for anyone who may not, be aware, if you go to the reactions button, there is an option to raise your hand, or you can just unmute and speak up. And otherwise, it's my understanding that we have all the information needed to potentially close
No,
this.
he needs to update the plan. The plan's in.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. That being the case, the option is for continuation for our next meeting, which is April 25th, or beyond if you think you need more time. What would you prefer?
Continue to April 25th. It shouldn't take that long to update a couple spot elevations.
Yeah, and just redraw that at 7350, if you will.
Yeah, what I think happened was it like links. So when you populate the spot elevations, it just kind of like curved it in too far. But we can go grab a couple more shots over there.
So we can consider, if there are no further questions from anyone, a motion to continue DEP file hearing for DEP file 250-1095 until
99.
April 25th. 99. You're right. Oh, I wrote that wrong.
I'll make
Mr.
that
Chair,
motion.
second.
All right. We have a motion made by Lisa and seconded by Dan for continuation till April 25th. We're going to do a roll call vote, starting with Ron and Lisa,
Aye.
Aye.
and Dan and Tama.
Aye.
Tama's been driving, so I presume that was a yes.
Okay, and I'll throw in a yes. So the motion carries. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
I'm an aye as well.
Yes, I'm not used to you yet, so it's going to take a couple of rounds of training.
No worries.
But Mark Mariano, thank you. And
Thank you.
So our next item on the agenda is also, at least on my copy, a new hearing, does not have a completed file number for notice of intent 173 South Worcester Street. Do we have a representative of the applicant?
Yes.
Okay, identify yourself and go ahead.
Jackson Duran. It's under my name and my wife, Valerie Nicholas.
Okay, hang on, I've just lost my picture. All right, so please give your full name.
Jackson Duran.
Duran. All right.
Jackson, yeah.
And can you describe the project for me? And actually, John, do we have a plan we can share?
Yep. Give me 1 second. I thought their applicant was going to be on the call. They're a consultant. So give me 1 sec.
All right.
Can everyone see that?
We can, maybe
Yes.
if you can zoom it up a little bit, it'll be easier.
How's that?
That looks pretty good. And I see the plan you have up is the planning of the existing house. And I presume with the existing garage outlined there, and then the colored portion appears to be the addition. So the owner, so you expected a consultant to be presenting this, is that correct?
Yes.
Well, we'll help you out a little bit, and I think there are things that are going to need to be and need to require a continuation and further information. So, John, this is all within the buffer zone, as I see.
That's correct, Julian.
But there's adequate. We don't have any elevations on this. Is this a flat site or sloped toward the wetland area?
Gently sloping to the wetlands, yes.
But certainly amenable to any kind of sedimentation control as needed?
John, I
Yes.
think sheet L100 is the one I received in my package that shows the topo. It also
see.
shows sediment control. There's no legend. I'm guessing it's sediment control. So that was going to be one of my comments, was the plan is lacking some information. But anyway, yeah, L100 should have everything on it. And if not, I have no idea. Oh, there we go. I was going to say how I got this rogue plan. There we go.
Yeah, the orange line, it appears to me that would be the erosion controls, the
Sediment
Filtrex.
control.
Yeah,
Sediment control.
okay. Erosion and sediment controls, yes.
Sediment. So what's the line underneath that with the blocks on it? I don't see. That's why they need a legend. There's a line underneath one of them. I don't know what it is. So I guess we can mark it up. But so Julian, that's the answer to your question there. There's topo, and I think sediment control is that brown wavy line. But I'm not sure because there's another line style that doesn't have anything attributed to it. It's the one that's above approximate gravel driveway and parking. See how it's a dash with a block? I have no idea what that is.
Well, maybe the owner can say, is that a possible chain link fence or what is?
Well, and she's saying a driveway.
Just above the driveway. John, can you point to that?
This right here.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. Looks like a silk fence. But
I think it's a picket fence. Based on if I recall from my site visit, it was probably a 5 to 6 foot fence.
okay, so
Fence.
one of the things we're going to ask your engineer to do is to identify these features that they've called out. So they need to put a legend. They need to tell us exactly what is what, because we're guessing, and that shouldn't be. So we would ask them to put a legend on here. And I have no problem with the addition. It's very straightforward, but the plan needs a little bit of assistance. Put it that way, a little bit of help.
Okay, you want me to ask the engineer what is that?
Well, I think John Thomas, you'll send them
I mean, I thought the engineer was going to be here this evening, so that's why I was going to wait on ask all my questions now, but I can definitely put together an email and just, it would be more helpful for them to be present at these meetings. So that should have been in their contract too, to attend these meetings, to make sure that they can answer any questions the commission may have for you, make it easier on you. And, you know, there are some currently outstanding potential concerns that I have with the property. I mean, the shed itself doesn't look like it's in good shape. You know, and if you do want to, you know, remove it or repair it, now would be the time to do that along with your permit, because your permit for this would be valid for 3 years. So you would have the ability to do all that work and not have to refile for doing more work. You know,
the shed, we're not gonna touch the shed.
Okay, well,
because it was there already, so we can't touch it. We're not gonna touch it.
Are you going to be able? I mean, it doesn't even look like it's serviceable. So, I mean, do you plan on just removing it then?
Maybe, yeah. We're gonna remove it. Yeah.
Okay, well, that needs to be part of this project then.
You know, the difficulty with the shed is it's potentially, I mean, it may be at risk of falling down unpredictably. And if it were to injure somebody in some kind of an accident, whether it be a windstorm or anything like that, it could put you at liability risk that you would want to avoid. So that's the only reason to potentially address that. You know, sometimes it looks like it's a fairly old shed and it may have old timbers in it. There may be people that would be willing to take it down to harvest the timbers for reapplication to other uses. So there may be creative ways to get that in a more safe configuration without having to do a lot of hard work on your part.
I have a question. Is there any way we could get an okay to just build the foundation? Because we've been having that property for a long time, and then it takes a long time, you know. And then is there any way we could start doing the foundation and then, you know, in the meantime, or no?
I mean, you most certainly can do that. It's just any work that you want to do within 100 feet of that stream or that wetland resource area, you're going to have to come back for a permit again. So I'm just saying, I'm trying to encapsulate or bring everything together for you. That way you can include everything. And I'm going to talk to the engineer to see what's best right
for that shed. Either we could knock it down, whatever's best interest for us, we're gonna go with it. So we're gonna ask the engineer first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
because it's already there. It's either we fix it or we knock it down.
Right. I mean, it's on you to forever, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. But I'm just trying to save you the time and money and effort to kind of duplicate all the things that you have to do. So, you know, if you want to encapsulate everything, this permit would be valid for 3 years. And then you could do all that stuff. You could phase it out. So let's say, you know, this year you just want to do the foundation for the, you know, the addition and start that going. And then next year you want to do the shed. You want to raise that. You know, you can do that because your permit will be valid for 3 years. So I just want you to be aware. I mean, I haven't had a discussion with you about this. I've been dealing with your consultant and only dealing with kind of what they've been showing me. But, you know, the issue that I also have with the application is that they're proposing to put in a pool in their language. And I don't think that's kind of what you had entailed here for your design. So I just wanted to clarify with him that, you know, that was not part of this work because I don't see a pool here. Nor do I see. Go ahead.
No, we didn't ask for any pool.
All right. Well, then it was an oversight by your consultant's part, because in the application, it states that there's a retaining wall, there's a pool, there's all this other information that's being as part of this application. So I just want to make sure that, you know, what you're doing.
It's not the one from before. Was it a permit that was pulled before for the pool? Because we don't have nothing.
I would review the application that he provided you that was submitted. In addition, I don't have a DEP number for this. I don't know if he sent it to the state. So that's something that you're definitely gonna have to find out. For me, I would say that I have a lot of questions that I need answers from. I already sent him some information on some comments that I had for him, and he has not responded back to me. So I just don't know kind of what the current situation here is with, his contract, or kind of what the dealing has been with working with this consultant of yours.
Okay.
All right.
We'll give him a call tomorrow.
Okay.
And John, I think a way to tee this up for the continuation is that you send an email to the consultant enumerating each item that we've been talking about, particularly with the question of the pool that doesn't jibe with the plan, and potentially a correction of the application. And this application also, I did not see, and again, it may be my mistake, but on the copy I have, there is no owner specified. There's no, I don't think there are any signatures, unless
most of the digital ones do not have signatures.
see.
The hard copies do have signatures that we have.
Yeah, I signed for them. I did. I signed for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
All
met
right.
with him. Yeah.
All right. So it sounds
George.
like, go ahead, Lisa.
Oh, I have a few to add to your list if you don't have them already. One of them is there's no such thing as a seasonal stream under the Wetlands Protection Act. I see that, it's either intermittent or perennial, so they have to qualify that wetland correctly, first off. Second, they need to add a note to this plan that mentions who, what, where, why, when those wetlands were flagged, right? Who did it and when. They need to, it's not a 25-foot no build. If they looked at our policy, they'd know it's a 25-foot no disturb. That needs to be corrected. And then, it's a sediment control line, not an erosion control line. So they need to fix that as well. So those are my comments. If you can add that to the list, please.
Understood.
All right. So
Valerie,
Yes.
did what's his name did the survey for the to find out the wetland? If he did it?
It's Robert Morini. Yeah.
Robert, yeah, he did that already, and we submitted.
Right. We're just looking for, so typically what you do is you'd add a note to the plan that says the company that flagged the wetlands and when it was done. So we have it for the record. So that's just, it's a note your engineer can add to the plan.
Okay.
Just a note.
Yeah.
Yep.
all right. So just with regard to procedure now, we are going to take a vote to continue this hearing until our next meeting, and our next meeting is April 25th. Yes, April 25th. And at that time, you would sign on again, and hopefully your consultant will also be available to address all these items. And so you're okay with that continuation, I assume?
Yes.
Yes, we're okay. But another question: once we got all this stuff, like with the pool stuff situated, because we didn't say nothing about the pool, but we're gonna call the guy tomorrow to make sure there's no pool on the plan. Is there any way we could start building the foundation?
So just so you're aware, Jackson, is that you have to wait until you get an order of conditions from the commission. It's basically the acceptance permit that the commission issues. Once you get that, then there's a 10-day waiting period, and then you have to go record that. Then I'm going to probably talk to you. I mean, we can have a discussion. If you want to come in the office, you and your wife want to come in the office, we can talk about that, and I can explain kind of the process on how that works. Or if you want to give me a call tomorrow, I'm more than happy to explain it to you.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
That's fine.
All right. Thank you.
We'll wait.
Thank you.
So Julian, I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing for 173 South Worcester Street to the April 25th, 2022 meeting.
Second.
We have a motion made by Lisa, seconded by Dan for continuation of the hearing until April 25th. A roll call vote. We'll start with Lisa and Mark.
Aye.
Aye.
And Ron and Dan.
Aye.
And now we have Tama and myself.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. So the motion carries. So we'll see you guys on the 25th. Our next item is not a new, it's continued public hearings. So the first one of those is notice of intent for 0 rear Eddy Street, continued multiple times since 2021, the beginning of 2021. And as I understand it from an email I received, they are requesting a continuation until May 9th, about a month from now. Is that correct, John? You agree? All right. So
That's correct.
We can consider a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing for DEP number 5-1070 to the May 9th meeting of the Conservation.
Second.
We have a motion made by Dan, seconded by Lisa. We'll begin with a roll call vote, starting with Mark and Ron.
Aye.
Aye.
And Dan and Lisa.
Aye.
Aye.
And Tama and myself.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. The motion carries. File number 250-1070 is continued until May 9th. The next continued public hearing is a notice of intent for 70 Oak Street. And that also, the applicant also requested a continuation to May 9th, and just confirm that for me, John.
That is correct.
And we'll consider a motion on that.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue file DEP 250-1093 to the May 9th meeting of
Second.
the commission.
And we have a motion made by Dan and seconded by Lisa for continuation of file number 250-1093 till May 9th. Roll call vote, starting with Mark and Ron,
Aye.
Aye.
and Lisa and Dan.
Aye.
And we have Tama and myself.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. That motion carries. Our next item is file number 250-1096, which again is an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation, 93 Mansfield Avenue, along with 0 Mansfield Avenue and 0 Reservoir Street. They have also requested a continuation until May 9th.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue 250-106 to the May 9th meeting of the Conservation Commission.
Second.
And we have a motion made by Dan, seconded by Lisa for continuation of this hearing. And again, roll call vote, starting with Mark and Ron,
Aye.
Aye.
and Dan and Lisa,
Aye.
Aye.
and Tama,
Aye.
and I'll throw in an aye. So we are now, no requests for certificates of compliance. We have an order of condition for the warehouse at 196 Mansfield Avenue. And I did not have, actually, the only thing that I noted was there were a bunch of dimensions and so on that needed to be filled in. But I'm assuming that's been completed.
That's correct. You actually have an outdated version of it. We received those dimensions from the applicant and they're all set now.
Can you read those for the record, please, John? The permit authorizes the construction of approximately.
I don't have them on me, to be honest with you. They're at the office. They're updated. I don't have the updated version of it. I'd have to go through my computer right now, so you'll have to wait then if that's the case.
Does Megan have them? Because mine's full of X's too here, so.
Give me a couple minutes.
Okay.
And I didn't really find anything else elsewhere. Does anybody have any comments about other items on this set of orders?
I mean, John Thomas, I have no issue approving it. If you have the numbers, just send me the numbers so I can just jot them down for my records tomorrow or something, you know? But I must have gotten an old copy as well.
Actually, John, do you think it's on the Google Drive copy?
It's not. I just checked.
Okay. Well, you know, you have the numbers, you say, and I think
Yes.
that's the only item, and I don't think there's anything that I saw. So unless anyone else has questions about any or additions, we can consider a motion.
Yeah, I would just ask that John send me those numbers tomorrow at some point. So
Yeah.
I can have them for my record, but I will make a motion to issue the order of conditions for file 250-1097.
I have the numbers.
Okay,
So this permit authorizes the construction of approximately 6.9 acres of new disturbance within the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. The proposed land use will include impervious surfaces, 4.9 acres, appurtenant grading, 0.90 acres, landscape hardscape areas, 0.85 acres, and portions of a comprehensive stormwater management system, 0.25 acres, which complies with the Massachusetts DEP Stormwater Standards and Stormwater Management Bylaw, Chapter 133. Receipt of an order of conditions satisfies the requirements under the Stormwater Management Bylaw.
okay, thank you.
All right, we have a motion made by Lisa, and anyone want to second that?
Second.
We have a second from Tama, that we issue the order of conditions for file number 250-1097 as just recently completed. Again, a roll call vote, starting with Mark and Ron.
Well, actually,
Good.
Mark has to abstain.
That's
Oh.
correct. I was going to say, I'm going to abstain because I didn't receive a copy and haven't had it.
All right, well, that's a vote. Okay. And now Ron and Lisa
Aye.
Aye.
and Dan and Tama,
Aye.
and I'll throw in an aye. All right, our next item is review draft minutes. You'll have to, you'll have to find out if you have a quorum for the executive session minutes, but let's see who's here for March 24th. I think we have a quorum for March 14th, I meant. We have Lisa, myself, Dan, and Ron. So I didn't find anything I was concerned about. Anybody else? Lisa, you're muted if you're talking to us.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of Monday, March 14th, 2022.
Motion made by Lisa and seconded by
I'll second.
Dan to approve the minutes as submitted for March 14th. Roll call vote, starting with Lisa and Dan,
Aye.
and now Ron, and I'll throw in an aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. March 14th is approved. March 28th.
I don't think we had a quorum. We have a
We
quorum.
don't have a quorum. Carrie
No.
is not available. And I'm not participating in the executive session meeting. So if you guys have a quorum for that, we can complete my part of the meeting and I'll sign off and you guys can deal with that.
Let's see.
I think the only person missing is Carrie, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think Carrie is a key person for the quorum requirements too.
Yes. For March 7th, she definitely is. I'm assuming it's going to be the same for 1, 2, 3. Well, the 22nd. Well, nobody was absent, so hold on. Why aren't they the same? Oh, so Ron was absent from the 7th. Is that right? It doesn't say on here, but he's not listed on the 7th. Is that correct?
If
Okay.
I remember,
came in
he
late.
may have been, oh, right.
But you were in attendance.
Yes.
He was
Okay.
here. He was here.
So we need to add Ron to the minutes, please.
Actually, before you discuss anything substantive, technically I have to leave the meeting. So, is there anything else we need to deal with before I leave the meeting?
So just a reminder to everybody, before we, I guess it's the April 23rd. There's going to be the Earth Day event that we're hosting at Edith Reed. If you have some free time from between noon and 2 o'clock, there's going to be a free cookout and also a scavenger hunt for kids. So bring your children, bring your grandchildren, feel free to stop on by and say hello. We're going to have a bunch of people there and support who are green in nature, along with the select board and a bunch of other volunteers, Girl Scouts, the like. So feel free to stop on by.
So you'll have to decide when you're going to send that notice into to the paper for the along the way column to get more people to come. So April 23rd. So maybe, I don't know, next Monday or something like that.
I'd sent it in already, but I can reach
Oh, you did?
in with them. Yeah, I also put it on Norton Neighbors as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I haven't seen it come through yet, but I'm sure they have a time when they publish these before the event. So. All right. Anything else before I sign off?
It's
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's nice to see that the sun is still out behind Julian these days, or the sun come out rather behind Julian because of the daylight savings.
True, and the approach of summer solstice.
So one of the topics of discussion coming up is going to be meeting in person, hybridized meetings and the like. So I don't know what everyone feels like about this, but we can definitely try to arrange to have it at Norton Media Center, the library, Edith Reed. We got a lot of options to kind of have a place to go to. So just think about that as we move forward, because as of July, we're going to have to start meeting in person again.
Yeah, having participated in the planning board meeting recently, in which they have a hybrid model, I should say, there were some glitches at the beginning of the meeting. So we're gonna have to practice to be sure we don't have the same kind of glitches. And it seemed, well, at least on my Zoom image, it was very remote. There were a bunch of people way, way off in the distance. So I don't know. We'll have to look at how it comes through on Zoom.
That's all I had.
All right. Well, I'm going to leave the meeting, and you guys can deal with the executive session issue. And till next time.
Good night, Julian.
All right. And Mark's going to recuse himself as well. So
Yes, thank you. Good night, everybody.
Night, Mark.